If we all know one thing about the city of Indianapolis is they love two things. A lot of racing. You can check out all the races at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and basketball. The Indiana Pacers have always been a team in the mix of things in the NBA. Whether they're just having a bad year or having an outstanding year, like taking LeBron to 7. The Indiana Pacers last year made the NBA Finals on one of the most improbable runs that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA, off the back of Coach Rick Carlisle. The first round for the playoffs was Indy versus Milwaukee. The top performances were Aaron Nesmith, Tyrese Halliburton, and Miles Turner. The Pacers won Game 1 and 2 at home, but could not get it done in Game 3. They then went on to win Game 4 off a deep three from Miles Turner and a nice corner three from Obi Toppin. Game 5 was back in Indy. Could they potentially win it on their home turf? Round 2 of the Eastern Conference playoff for the semifinals. It was Indiana at Cleveland for the first 2 games. The energy was high and hopes were very much higher for the whole city of Cleveland. The energy in the building was crazy. Their rally towel celebration at the beginning of their games is, in my opinion, one of the greatest experiences you can ever experience. It was a pretty close game to start off for Game 1. The Pacers took a nice early lead with a few buckets from Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, and other notable names. Pacers got the win in Game 1, but Cleveland is looking to hopefully stop them for the win in Game 2, with a notable performance in Game 1 from Tyrese Halliburton, hitting a deep three in the second quarter with 6 minutes left to go. Cleveland. Game 2 showed notable performances from players like Andrew Nembhard and Miles Turner. Miles Turner was hitting deep threes while Andrew Nembhard was passing the ball out and getting his guys in the game. The Pacers found themselves down again with hopes for maybe another game winner. Cleveland knew it was coming to them, as Tyrese Halliburton gets past the three-point line, dribbles. Rick Carlisle let him play, and it was good. Coming into game 3, what could happen, right? You've got the 2 first games. Let's see what you can do. Nothing could go wrong, right? A lot went wrong. It was an absolute snooze fest for all of Indiana. Coming to game 4, Indiana was hoping for something different. Some closer ball is what they were hoping for. With notable performances from Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin, and Pascal Siakam, the Pacers got it done and were heading to potentially what could be an elimination game for Cleveland. Coming into Cleveland, all hopes were high that the series was going to keep going. The whole city of Cleveland knew what they were going into. They knew that this could be potentially an elimination game for them. With them down, hoping to extend the series just by a few more games, Cleveland was going to have to make a big step up. But unfortunately, they couldn't get it done as Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers were able to go into Cleveland with dominant efforts and win the game to move to the Eastern Conference Finals. We enjoyed a good series. There was a lot to enjoy here from Cleveland and the Indiana Pacers. With the Indiana Pacers coming out on top of the series, they would be advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the New York Knicks. With 2 teams with very rough history, they were kind of hating each other, but it was all set up perfectly. The scriptwriters couldn't have done any better. Coming into Game 1 at New York, hopes were high for both squads as this could be their chance to go to the NBA Finals. The Pacers, however, had not made the NBA Finals in 25 years. In the first half, it was dominant from the New York Knicks, with the Pacers having little life in Game 1, until this deep 3 from Tyrese Halliburton brought back hope for the entire Pacers organization. With a dominant performance from Aaron Nesmith, he could not miss a 3. And this Pacers defense was on point all day. When all hope seemed lost for the Indiana Pacers, they went to the guy they know best. And you know what they say. History tends to repeat itself. Like I said, there's deep-rooted hate between these 2 organizations. They know what's in it. They know the history as the Pacers looking to get a Game 2 win here in New York. It was back and forth all game with notable performances from Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin, and Pascal Siakam. The New York Knicks could not mess this up, as then they would already go down 2 games. They couldn't allow it to happen. Jalen Brunson, Mr. Clutch Player of the Year, voted from NBA, missed the game-winning shot, and the Pacers went up 2-0 on the Knicks. With them going back home in Indianapolis in Game 3, what could happen? What could go wrong? I'm just going to say right now, a lot went wrong as the New York Knicks got a dominant win over the Indiana Pacers in Game 3. And they won for New York. Knowing what was coming in this big Game 4, both teams knew that if the Indiana Pacers won, they'd go up 3-1. And if the Knicks won, it would be tied at 2-2, which it's a must-win game for both teams. And if they messed up, they knew it was in it for them. Notable performances in Game 4 from Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam with great team effort from both. Aaron Nesmith as well was on fire all game. And it seemed like the teamwork and team effort from both squads was amazing. Game 5 coming into New York, it was tough because the Knicks were facing elimination. They needed a lot to happen. They needed a miracle, and a miracle they got. They got it done, and Tyrese Halliburton knew that as soon as it went to Indy, it was all but over. He knew exactly what needed to happen for him to win his Pacers the game and go to the NBA Finals. A lot on the line for this game. The Pacers knew what they needed, and they got a dominant blowout win. And the Pacers would be going to the NBA Finals. For the first time in 25 years, your Indiana Pacers are Eastern Conference champions. Game 1 coming into the NBA Finals, you had an Indiana Pacers team that had never won an NBA Finals in their history. And the same thing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. For Game 1, it started off hot for the Thunder, taking a nice lead to hopefully put themselves over the Pacers. But if the Pacers have proved anything, they proved that it's never over. When the Indiana Pacers have a chance of life left, they will fight and fight till that final whistle. And that remained true as we had notable performances from Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, and Andrew Nembhard, and Tyrese Halliburton. When all hopes seemed lost, they went to their guy. And it was good. The Indiana Pacers won the first game of the NBA Finals series off the back of Tyrese Halliburton, another game winner. In Game 2, the Thunder knew that the Pacers had been unstoppable whenever they were on the road, always winning those good games where they could take home court advantage. Notable performances from TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, and Tyrese Halliburton. But they just weren't enough as the Thunder steamrolled over the Pacers in Game 2. There were some still notable plays from this as Tyrese Halliburton hit a deep three to make the game quite close, but the series was tied up 1-1. The Thunder hoping to get that win in Indy like all the other places that they've played have done. Now, Game 3 was very close. The final score might not show, but the Indiana Pacers and the Thunder battled the whole way, and the top performer was TJ McConnell, as he had electrifying steals and amazing plays to put the Pacers up 2-1. Benedict Mathurin, who I haven't said his name a whole lot, was also one of the top performers, getting a decent amount of points, but Andrew Nembhard, Miles Turner, and Tyrese Halliburton doing what they do best, showing their teamwork. TJ McConnell. They call him the Tasmanian Devil as he slides into the paint. And the Indiana Pacers just went on a dominant run, and that's what put them up. Can't forget about Aaron Nesmith. That man can hit threes. But you can never leave Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out, as he is dominant in the paint. He can shoot middies. And a dominant dunk by Obi Toppin. But the Indiana Pacers knew that this was a must-win game. Coming into Game 4, the Indiana Pacers lost off some controversial calls and even got a technical foul on Coach Carlisle, which allowed SGA to shoot a free throw. And this put the series in a hole for the Indiana Pacers, with Benedict Mathurin just not playing up to what he's used to in this game. He did end up hitting the second free throw, but it was all over. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a dominant run to tie the series up 2-2 as we would go into Oklahoma City for Game 5. There was nothing much the Pacers could do, and they just got it handed to them. But for Game 5 was back at OKC. They knew what they needed, as SGA was getting fired up for his guys. Tyrese Halliburton as well, two of the NBA's top point guards last year. The game started off close, as most games do, and it was pretty close throughout. But one team ran away with it in the final few minutes. But yet again, there was dominant performances from Andrew Nembhard and Pascal Siakam. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have immaculate players. They have players that can shoot in your face and be dominant. The Indiana Pacers have teamwork. But one thing was for certain: the Oklahoma City Thunder would not be denied, as the Oklahoma City Thunder won Game 5, with Indiana facing elimination in Game 6. They weren't nervous. They knew exactly what they had to do. But the Indiana Pacers could not get it done here in Game 5. A dominant performance from SGA and Alex Caruso is what led to the Oklahoma City Thunder's win. Here in Game 6, the Pacers knew what they had to do to get it done, with Tyrese Halliburton shooting like crazy. It was an electrifying night for an Indiana Pacers fan. And a dominant performance from TJ McConnell and Benedict Mathurin. But it stands tall. The Indiana Pacers teamwork cannot be matched, as that is what led them to a dominant run in the first half, and it was never close after halftime. Dominant plays from Ben Shepherd, TJ McConnell, Pascal Siakam. Everybody on the Pacers had a dominant play. In Game 6, this was the game to be at. Especially if you like high-scoring matchups. And to go into halftime up 30 points, as Pascal Siakam would not be denied in the paint, and his immaculate teamwork. So if he knows when to not put up a shot, which is insane. A lot of players in the league don't know how to do that now. The Pacers would not be denied. I have said it and said it again. This was the game to be an Indiana Pacers fan. If you have a favorite Indiana Pacers player, they definitely did something in this game with Tyrese Halliburton hitting deep threes almost from half court. And here, Halliburton just trusting his guy, Pascal Siakam, and hitting him right in the open. Aaron Nesmith to pass out to Halliburton, and he puts up an easy layup. But the Oklahoma City Thunder knew what they needed, but they couldn't get it. And Pascal Siakam with an amazing dunk on posterizer. It was never close after that. The Pacers get a dominant Game 6 win to force a Game 7. The best two words in sports. In Game 7, the hopes were high and everybody on the teams were fired up. What stood tall in Game 6 is Tyrese Halliburton had a bit of a calf injury. They were hoping that wasn't to be a bother, as Aaron Nesmith and the guys would get fired up alongside with Pascal Siakam and Obi Toppin. Miles Turner hoped for an absolute amazing game in Game 7. He was hoping. But we knew. We had Tyrese Halliburton. He was fired up. He wanted this more than anybody on that court. Coach Carlisle was fired up for his guys. But the Oklahoma City Thunder were arguably more fired up. But Tyrese Halliburton was the most fired up on that court. He knew he wanted this. The Thunder got quite emotional because they knew that it's on their home court. It's going to be hard to stop the Oklahoma City Thunder. But that would not get in the way of the Pacers' hopes. Yes, the season was over, but the Pacers didn't let that get into their heads. They knew for a fact they had one of the most legendary runs in playoff history. Tyrese Halliburton to stand outside the locker room and cheer on his guys as they walked through the tunnel, and Reggie Miller being there and hugging TJ McConnell was was very sad for the entire city, and for him to hug Matherin, but McConnell, because he put up most of the Pacers' points in Game 7. But Tyrese Halliburton to be there to cheer on his guys was very inspirational and emotional at the same time for all of us Indiana Pacer fans. The Pacers had an immaculate year. They had pretty heartbreaking injuries, and in the final moments, a team of misfits looked like they were going to be NBA champions. But it never turned out to be that way, as they were the underdogs.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time.